pinnacle of curling and battled in the most intense games.
Out on the ice, there's no room for compromise.
And when the pressure's on,
every millimeter counts.
It's not just a game.
It's about maximizing performance,
Pushing limits.
Seizing victory.
when victory hangs in the balance,
I know what I'm relying on,
It's a gold line.
it's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
and it's the choice of champions.
When it comes to the game we love, having the right gear makes all the difference.
Gold Line's new curling shoes and brooms are a game changer.
The shoes, unbelievably comfortable.
And the brooms, lightweight and effective, giving you control on every sweep.
When I step onto the ice, I'm not just prepared, I look sharp.
Have you seen these shoes? They are a game changer.
And the brooms, light as a feather.
It's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
And is the choice of champions.
Final stone. Does he have it? Yes, he does! What a shot! John Schuster! Oh my goodness! A third of a rock for... That would make sense when I did curl.
Well, we gotta not kill that. It's gotta just be in the catch zone.
I mean, my gut is like hack to board and just roll 3 feet. 2 feet.
Yeah? Yeah, I think it's probably just hack.
You're always touching the 6.
I don't know that this leaves the 4 foot with hack.
Really good spots for Miller.
I think John's in a situation where he needs to send one of the red guards back.
Oh, baby.
Yeah, and it's dead nose and just, it's gonna go spinning. This actually might catch two and just leak back.
This is a full send here.
Okay, so it might, yep. Close to dead.
Hammer something.
Extra focus of the players, because sometimes you just couldn't hear yourself thinking, and we needed to like use signs and show what we meant instead of just shouting out a number or like play this hit and roll kind of thing. We had to show everything, so that added another level, I guess, to our game. After that, we've been a little better when the crowd is loud or when you can't hear as well.
Johnson on this one here.
Can't hear yet for line ever.
No, they like line. Now does it have the speed? They like the line. Does it have the speed? They're going hard for line. You have to get by this top yellow. Trevor Johnson leaning on it. He's by it. Now does it stop in time? Has to stop in time. What a shot from Ryland Kleider. We thought it was maybe the hardest option up from the booth, but that's why we're not down there.
I've stood at the pinnacle of curling and battled in the most intense games.
Out on the ice, there's no room for compromise.
and when the pressure's on,
every millimeter counts.
It's not just a game.
It's about maximizing performance,
Pushing limits.
Seizing victory.
when victory hangs in the balance,
I know what I'm relying on,
It's a gold line.
it's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
and it's the choice of champions.
Live here from the Sleeman Center in Guelph, Ontario, Canada. Fifth leg of the Grand Slam curling tour here, the WFG Masters. Draw number 2 of the day here for our 11:30 start. Our feature matchup today will be Team Gim taking on Team Schwaller. Take a look at the lineups here. First for Team Gim. Skip Kim Eun-ji. Third, Kim Min-ji. Second, Kim Soo-ji. And lead Sol Yi-soon. On the opposite side for Team Schwaller. Skip Xenia Schwaller. Third, Selena Gaffner. Second, Fabienne Rieder. And lead Selena Reischiger. I'm Tyler George, joined here by 3-time world champion Brent Lang. Brent, 2 top 10 teams in the world here. Team Gim ranked number 3, Team Schwaller number 8. Obviously, every game here at the Slam's a big one, but these 2 teams have had a lot of success on tour this season. And Team Schwaller, really up-and-coming squad, the defending junior world champions. We've seen a lot of promise from this team.
Yeah, I've been introduced to them this year. Obviously, saw them kind of made the Players' Championship last year, which is pretty crazy to be the World Junior Champs playing in the Players' Championship. I think that's happened in the past where it's been a sponsor's exemption and things have happened. But, you know, still looking for their first qualify in the Grand Slams. Didn't qualify there last year at the Players and 0 for 3 so far this year. So really looking to, you know, make a mark in the Slams against the best in the world. They know they can beat all the teams because they beat most of them around the world. And so it'll be interesting to see today. They got their hands full with Team Gim, 3 wins on tour this season and just always seeming to be in the mix. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, Tyler. We'll see what happens.
Team Schwaller with a loss in their first game. Team Gim as well. So one of these teams is going to get a win on the slate. One will drop to the dreaded 0-2. We've seen lightning fast ice so far too, Brent. We saw the ice start to deteriorate a little bit in the final 2 draws yesterday, second half of the game. Nothing new for a 4-game draw. But the day games, we've seen the speed as fast as we've seen probably at any Slam this year, too. We're seeing hog-to-hog times in the low to mid-15s even for T-weight. How do you make that adjustment for teams coming in that aren't used to playing on ice that fast?
Well, I don't make the adjustment very well, but they did sandpaper the rocks last night, so which means that generally it'll be a little bit slower. I was on the bench this morning for Team McEwen versus Team Epping, and there was some more curl, especially more finish. Still runs down the sheet fairly true and fairly straight, and then there was more finish. The chases were a little bit easier, and so as usual, a good choice by the ice makers. The surface, though, it's still pretty fast, but we weren't getting like the 15.5s this morning that we were yesterday. So I think as a player, they'll be a lot more comfortable today with draw weight. I know I would be. Gets over 15, it gets too fast.
I agree there. So did you see with the morning draw that it seemed more like you had to have the traditional finish on the release for Slam ice where there's that sharp turn when it's curling, so you have to anticipate it, and if you don't get it out of your hand and really stick it, it's going to turn over. We did not really see that on day 1.
Yeah, I think Tyler George could still be out there and be okay. I don't think it needs the full Bruce Mowat yet, but definitely a little more susceptible to that today. But in talking with the guys and listening to them while they're playing out there, being down on the ice, it's still a little bit sneaky straight. You can still miss wide, so that's more likely than missing tight at this point. But we'll see how much it changes as the day goes on. The frost builds up. One of the issues the ice makers were talking about yesterday was zero humidity in the building, so no frost, no bite, and that's kind of where they think the speed comes from in some ways, and I don't pretend to understand any of that, but I'll take their word for it.
So that's the scale we have now from myself to the full Mowat?
Yeah, I think that's our scale.
Spin on the release for the sticking it rotations.
I think that's fair.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm at the very bottom, but it's a good reference point.
Wow.
I'm in that range.
How about the bottom of the top? That's still a pretty good place to be. Old school, we'll call it.
Old school, yeah.
Yeah. Every team now works so hard on getting that, depending on the team, from anywhere from a quarter to a full rock set when they let go of the rock, which is kind of outward motion. Whereas when you and I grew up playing, we were, you know, I watched Rust and Glenn Howard throw, and there was no outward motion, no inward motion. It was just coming out of their hand like I used to wonder how it even got spin on it. It was coming out so smooth, but for better or for worse, that's changed.
It rolls to the opposite side of the house, to the back of the 8-foot. Lead Solgi soon.
Talking to Pierre Charette. I don't know what his official title is. He's kind of master of the draw and all the rules and everything else, but been here a long time, and he loves curling as much as anybody. Loves to talk curling, talking strategy, and he thinks as the week goes on, we're going to see a lot more kind of open single points because of this double no blank rule. And I haven't really seen it yet in terms of that, but it does change the strategy, especially in a close game as you get down to 6, 7, and 8, when blanking maybe doesn't become an option.
For those just tuning in for the first time, the rule Brent is referring to is if 2 ends in a row are blanked in this tournament, then the hammer switches teams. So you're not allowed to retain hammer after a second consecutive blank. Experimental rule. Get feedback from the players, see what they think after the event. And slams, Brent, generally have been used as that experimental grounds for rules that have been put in permanently, like the no-tick zone and the 5-rock free guard zone. They've tried timing per end as opposed to per game. There's been a lot of different things that the slams with the top teams here are used for that trial, and to very good success.
Yeah, the thinking time came from the slams, which makes the most sense, not penalizing teams that throw more draws. And the idea of that was to get away from just throwing hits all in the first end or two to save time, because it takes twice as long to throw a draw. But it'll be interesting to see the feedback, as one event is maybe not enough to know, but we'll have a sense here as both teams are kind of trading hits and stays, and somebody's going to try and get under that center guard. And it is Team Schwaller with last rock here.
Second Kim Suji with the hit and stick. Both teams, trying to get that roll underneath center now. Fabienne Reeder with her second stone of this first end. Left-hander playing her out turn. Roll a little the opposite way once again.
I don't know enough about these teams to know their kind of general. As teams are around the tour, you get a reputation for being aggressive, defensive, somewhere in the middle, unpredictable. That's what I would want to aim for as a team. A lot of these teams are very predictable in terms of what they do. When you've played them 40 and 50 times each, like some of these top players have played, you know exactly what to expect. I would say Schwaller had a plan to blank the first end, drew open side, and
that's that roll we're looking for.
Somebody was going to make it.
Nicely done by third Kim Minji. I always felt, Brent, in big competition that if I could make one of those early, the finesse shot. I mean, making a draw, you feel good about having your draw weight, but you make that board weight, control weight, hit and roll early in the game, you really feel like you have a good feel for the conditions.
Okay.
Yeah, it makes it easier to kind of build on that as we watch Selena Gaffner try the run back and not quite making contact, so and just try and replace this guard. It'd be a fairly comfortable shot. This is kind of the draw to the button path. And Tyler, we know how important that last stone draw is, the draw for hammer before the game, as that is the potential tiebreaker, depending on, it's kind of confusing. Anytime you play pools like this, it gets confusing, but depending on how many teams are tied for the last spot and how many sheets of ice are available, you could get knocked out based on that shootout, or, as so often happens, somebody at 2 and 2 will get directly in and somebody else will have to play a tiebreaker game based on that. So it is super important, not just for the hammer, but it's almost like having an extra win.
Guard over curls just a touch, but not too bad. Good piece open. Schwaller will chase. And yeah, to your point, Brent, with only playing a 4-game round robin to qualify for playoffs, and half the teams in the field making it, it is essentially like another win. As if you play in a Nationals or a Briar, a long event, where the round robin is at least twice the length, then each win isn't worth quite as much as it is here, but that draw to the button throughout the course of the week, the LSD, you have a little more margin for error if you have an off game or two with the draws. Here, you don't really have that option with only 4 games.
Yeah, and I think that's why Pierre came up with the idea that the first 2 games, each team throws 2. And the second, the last 2 games, you only throw 1 draw to the button. And then out of those 6 draws, so that's 6. That's tough math, but I think I'm right. You get to drop your worst, and then your best 5 count. And that's kind of how the ties are broken. So it is, it's a bit complicated. Let's be honest. It's not complicated. If you win all your games, you win the event. That's still true.
That's a good one.
And I still haven't seen it, although mathematically it is possible. I haven't seen it where 3-1 is out. Which could have, even with the crossover, I don't know that for sure.
It is interesting that it's the only tournament I'm aware of on tour that, not this particular, but all the slams, where games outside of your own competition may have an effect on your qualification, as it depends on how many sheets are available for the tiebreaker, how many ties there are on the men's and women's side. So a women's team could be eliminated and not play a tiebreaker game because there's too many ties on the men's side, or vice versa.
Yeah, they save 2 sheets for each, so there's guaranteed room for 2 tiebreakers if needed. If there needs to be 3 ladies and there's only 1 men's, then Bob's your uncle. You play all 3 ladies and only 1 men's. But if it happens to be you need 3 ladies tiebreakers and 3 men's, there's only 4 sheets, they're going to send 2 of each gender home based on that shootout. Don't lose 2 games, Tyler. That's the lesson. Don't do it. So one of these teams is going to be down to their last chance here after this game, as you said. Both 0-1 coming in, both needing that win. It's also about, I think it's $4,000 per win. That's nice, pocket change.
That's correct.
It's only Canadian, so not really useful to you, but
it's useful to me when I'm up here.
Well, and especially if we go to American dollars. Aren't we going to be American soon? We're going to be brothers?
Oh, that'd be a beautiful thing.
I don't think so. We like being Canadian. You like being American, and we like being neighbors.
I was just taking it for the money for getting paid for the event.
True. That'd be nice, eh?
But yeah, otherwise, I think everybody's good where they're at right now.
Everybody wants a 40% raise. This is tight.
Out-turn hit attempt here from Xenia Schwaller.
That's how you scrub. But
goes behind center. There's a little less than half showing, so interesting decision now for Team Gim. These are these in-between tracks, Brent. We've said it in every single slam, where you really need to make sure you finish the release when you're inside the draw to the button path going towards the center. We see this shot missed narrow and light repeatedly early in games on this exact line.
Yeah, and it hasn't been as aggressive in speed and curl so far this week. But that is so true so often. So the other option here is you play the freeze on a path you know really well and you force to 1. This is fine. It's going to, I wonder if this is the double blank coming in at all, thinking if we hit this, she's going to blank, and then next time she can't blank, and whether that's an advantage or not is up for debate. But
Kim Eun-ji, her final stone of the first end. A clean release there.
Don't think this will take off as long as it's not heavy. The miss here would be wide and heavy.
Yeah, it's not turning over. Starting to curl now. Yep, no problem. Good shot there. Played a safe track. And plenty of weight to clear the rock if they made decent contact. That's really the way you want to throw that shot too, Brent. You're not trying to get close to the guard and make it perfect. It's very unlikely that you're stealing regardless.
For sure, right?
Yeah.
Contact is key. First rule of a takeout is take something out. Wayne Madaw taught me that. It's a good rule. So Xenia is going to go for the blank here. Xenia is part of the Schwaller royal family of curling in Switzerland. And I did a little research because I think I screw this up every time. I always wonder. Her dad is Andy, which makes her uncle Chris Schwaller. And that makes Yannick her cousin. So a lot of Schwaller in there. I guess her sister curls too, and bringing the heat. Big extension there, and the danger is that can be outward, and she
faded
is
backwards.
Walking away from that one.
Not a chance. That's nowhere near. And so the cheap steal for Team Gim in the first end. They lead Schwaller 1-0 after one.
There's a place where the world's best curling not only lives, it rocks. Download the new Grand Slam of Curling app and live stream all the action. Get exclusive content, stats, merch, and more. Let's rock.
I've stood at the pinnacle of curling and battled in the most intense games.
Out on the ice, there's no room for compromise.
And when the pressure's on,
every millimeter counts.
It's not just a game.
It's about maximizing performance,
pushing limits,
seizing victory.
When victory hangs in the balance,
I know what I'm relying on.
It's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
And it's the choice of champions.
Unforced error to finish off the first end for Team Schwaller. Xenia flashes the open blank attempt. That will be a steal for Gim, leading 1-0 onto the second end. Gim going right back up to center guard as they started the first end.
See how the young team kind of responds to that. That's a bit of a kick in the gut in the first end. You play the whole end for a blank, you have the open blank, and unforced error for sure. Don't have to worry about blank in the second end now.
Yeah, now you can.
Yeah, for
You're
sure.
not losing hammer this time.
Got a couple famous coaches behind the bench. Hard to tell from way up here, but that's got to be Andy Schwaller, Xenia's dad there. And then the old Guy Hemmings has been working with Team Gim now, I'd say for a couple of years. And I don't know if they speak English, Korean, or French to each other, but maybe all three. Guy, one of the best, all-time characters of the game.
Yeah, I don't know if it would matter which language it was. I don't know that I'd understand what he was saying.
Oh, Guy, he speaks actually pretty good English over the years. I had lots of good games against Guy in the, I guess it would have been the early 2000s, and then he kind of faded off, and nice to see him back in the game.
Yeah, one of the good guys of the sport. Great ambassador. I remember even in our junior days, Guy attending some events as a special guest speaker and taking time with all the teams. Very gracious with his time. He was always a favorite for the kids watching too because of his hair.
Oh,
it doesn't take much when you're young, like to have a reason to cheer for somebody, whether it's crazy pants or hair.
He had that wobbly slide, just made you feel like, if this guy can do it, I can do it. But yeah, just an all-time great guy. Did some commentating for RDS, French TSN network, over the years, and yeah, spoke probably as much or more than anybody to juniors and curlers around the world. Did a, what was it called? A In the House with Guy, or Curling with Guy tour with Curling Canada for a couple of years. And
in-turn draw stops on the back of the button. The lead sold soon. Selena Reischiger plays the freeze and just taps that rock about a foot. Good spot on the lid. Quick chase broom put down for Team Gim. They see some rocks start to pile up in the forefoot now. Scrapers on this one immediately. I think that might be one, Brent, that yesterday gets there easy, and today really gonna have to go.
Look at how close her feet get to the rock while she's sweeping. It's unbelievable that she doesn't kick more of them. And in a perfect world, you want your feet out from underneath your body, because that tells you that more of your weight's on the broom. But they do tend to, this team sweeps a lot and very fast.
That does come up short and staggers the guard, so good opportunity now for Team Schwaller. Bobby and Reeder. Same in-turn path, going a little farther out. Schwaller with a pretty good amount of rotation on their stones. definitely more on the Mowat side of things.
Looks perfect.
Really well managed, right to their own. Great line. Backing with that red stone. Schwaller in control now.
Are those red ones hooked enough that there's not even a run back? I mean, the run back's going to jam, but maybe you could kill one yellow. That would be good if they could nose it. And don't really have an option to leave it like that, do we? If you're Team Gim, I mean, it's at least the deuce right now. You could freeze in there, and then that would just lock those two yellows in there for pretty much the whole end. I think you got to take a chance here. Even if you tick the top red first and then the second red, it might just bump it in there. And you need to move around those three in the forefront because they are hurting you.
They're playing the out turn, so it's throwing away from the other guard playing the run, too. You got to get really close to that other red. And over curls and... under curls, hits the other higher guard. Leaves the other red center. Really good spot for Schwaller.
Is that third shot if they freeze again? If it is, and they make it. A guard's not a good call. Yeah, you want to be right in here, right on it, and
yeah, let him chase once and chase 3 stones, where it's going to be difficult to lose more than 1.
Yeah, exactly. Fabian just made this shot too, so.
And if the run is off at all and rolls, then they don't have their same red to run in again. I'm talking about going to the wing.
No, hit and roll, I think she called, which that doesn't make any sense. No. I mean, you could go around the corner if you want, but that's pretty wide, and this is the shot you know best, and I don't know, if you freeze right on the nose, only one's ever going out, and if you hit it anywhere off, none of them are going out.
And Reeder just threw this shot. Let her throw it again.
Prove it wasn't a fluke, right, as they say?
Looks pretty similar to the last.
You seem to really like it.
That line's really good.
Maybe lost the line, actually, a little bit.
That's a very good spot, though.
I'd rather be yellow.
Yeah, I don't know that more than one of those is going out, even with the run.
And if they hit it, if they don't hit it this solidly, it's not like they can just tick it and get it out. It'll just move the back red and they'll all stay. I don't speak Swiss German, but a guard? Are you crazy? I think she said. I don't even know if they're speaking Swiss German. It sounded German to me.
Big run back attempt here for Team Gim and third Kim Minji. And they do all stay exactly like that.
One stays dead buried too, top 4, but there's a little hit and roll there that's going to be a concern for Team Schwaller. Now I don't think you're as crazy to guard, but the run back is into a pile now. They're all spread out, so
yeah, the bad part for Team Gim is if they do throw the guard or even top house staggered on that side, there's no out turn draw to get out. You could throw it to the back of the lid, try to get a piece buried, but you would not want to have to play that against a 3 or a 4.
Try and find a way to give up 3 here. I think they'd be pretty happy. You try and hold them to 1 or 2, and that's when you give up 5.
Selena Gaffner. In-turn draw again. Has to go a little bit farther out. So that guard is now on the left side of center line. So see if the track runs similar. I think they played a little more weight, thinking it'd be a little slower. And it's all the way there already.
Feather off.
Okay. I think that's terrible.
Not terrible. Nose double, maybe, like with a lot of speed, though. And I don't know if Selena's been practicing her karaoke more for the Grand Slam of karaoke or her curling. That was well thrown. Just kind of, I think if they just left that, it might have been better. But she sang a duet with, and Mattia was the original champion, the first champion of the Grand Slam of karaoke, and I thought he was fantastic, but she made him sound average.
Yeah.
It was impressive.
Not enough to take down the title, though.
Well, you know, it took a lot of different people to get it done, though, from a lot of different countries.
It was a big effort. Some question the results.
It's hard to judge art. Emotion, right?
You don't judge it, you appreciate it. Right?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing was how shocked people were that Rachel #1 got up there and that she could actually rap. And she'd obviously, I mean, maybe she didn't practice, but if she didn't practice, I mean, maybe she's just good at everything.
Yeah, she doesn't need to be better than everybody else at everything.
Yeah, and if everybody else, like all the other ladies teams, didn't already hate her, they must really hate her now.
Interesting to see now they are playing the double you talked about, Brent. But if that first stone that they're hitting catches the backside of the rock in the top of the forefoot on the center, they may only get one out.
Well, it doesn't look like it does up here, but this is an easy double, but not to save your shooter.
Yeah, it's wide enough it should go underneath on this path, and does.
So that's the easy way to make the double, but it's not as good for sure.
No, if you had left that rock there, then you have something you can use. And you probably have to guard. Now they're coming in with a third counter again.
I think I'm drawn behind the corner guard now. There it is.
Yeah, now is the time to play that. Wisely there by the young Skip.
And then what do you see Team Gim doing?
Freeze to the rock and back to the floors, probably. Either that or run double, or if you don't make contact, you're giving up 3 no matter what you do on your last.
That freeze is a bit of an awkward line, and even if you make it really good, they can probably still smash it out. So
I don't like anything.
No. As Brett Gallant said yesterday in the 7th end,
well,
if they do this, they're not going to be happy. He says, I don't think we're going to be happy for the rest of this end.
It's not as important to bury here, but really need to get it at least at T-line if they can, if it's not going to bury.
Need to get it in the rings.
Now they could
come off of that one potentially.
Could, but you're hitting third count crosshouse. If you don't make it, then they're lobbing the third one around.
I think you got to play it, maybe even into the back one. It's hard to tell from our angle. There doesn't look like there's a hole between those two.
If you're thin enough, you're probably making contact with something.
Yeah, exactly. Lots of good options here. Hit and roll right to the side. Make that top double's got to have some speed. A lot of speed. I think that's a long way to go across there. Half to thin half to a third, and something good's going to happen. In a quarter, I think you get into that back one probably close. Maybe a thick quarter.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways you can get a good result here. Even a dead roll right up next to that stone might be second. It's close.
Big
in
shot.
off here. Kim Yoon-ji. Right to the back one. Does roll to the open, but good result. And now this roll, Brent, really important for Team Schwaller.
If they do nose it, there will be a chance to hit and roll the button for shot. So they do got to roll. Even if they over-roll, it's going to be a deuce. Roll dead buried. You're going to be close to the back button and might force her into freezing on the button, which would be scary, but worth the risk.
Yeah, you'd really like to roll to show half on the back one. And get aggressive on it, too. The last thing you want to do is leave it right there. There's a no-stress hit and roll against a 2 at worst. That could still get you a steal. In turn, hit and roll. Xenia Schwaller.
sound like it's rolling. Never mind. That's pretty damn good.
It rolls and it still shows a piece, but not enough to get inside. That's a really good spot.
Gim's just going to rip that out of there and say, we're fortunate to get out of here with the deuce. Let's take our medicine.
Yeah, she's eyeballing the run. She's looking at it as a nose hit, but that is a risk-reward shot. I agree, Brent, not worth it. Looks like they almost have to talk her out of it, though.
I wouldn't have thought this would have taken a ton of conversation. You got the steal in the first. Played not your best end here. Made a great shot on her first one.
Oof. Oh, here we go.
Feeling it.
Skip wants to throw it, I guess. You let her. Sometimes you get sucked into a shot like this because it looks so good to the eye. Because it's a dead nose hit. If you nose it, you make it. But it doesn't necessarily mean you should play it.
Confidence kills sometimes.
This is a confident shot.
They also say ride her till she bucks you, and she made her first one real good and feeling good. So right on the nose, as they would say. Pretty easy. How easy is it to hit it on the nose? So it can't be that hard.
That's a little drift there on the delivery.
A little back. Need the curl.
Good shot here from Gim, still hanging. Can they get it to curl enough? He gets one of them.
When you're that good, I mean, if that's your miss, then you can play it all day.
Took the long way to get there, but does remove the same stone. It's a draw to the paint for Schwaller, 4-2. I think you almost feel like you stole your team Gim right now with how that end was shaping up.
I wouldn't be disappointed, and then if your team Schwaller, I think you're still pretty happy. You know, tough first end of the first end. And now a free draw to the rings for 2. Can't miss the freebies. Need to make the open hits and stays, the draws to the rings, draws to the 8-foot, even draws to the 4-foot need to be made for extra points. That's the difference between winning and losing. At this level, you leave points on the board, you're not going to do well.
Xenia Schwaller's last in the second end. Just needs to touch paint, 4-2. Certainly not light, but sweepers seem to think it's fine. Just cleaning in. Will be 2 for Schwaller. Bouncing back from the miss in the first. They get their deuce and lead 2-1 after 2 ends.
When you've conquered another game, a long day, a job well done, and the final work call, we're your place. Come as you are and fit in comfortably. Mr. Mike's. Eat locally, enjoy casual.
Team Schwaller in control all through the second end. They get their 2 and lead 2-1 over Team Gim. Brent, as we mentioned, I think both teams are probably pretty happy with how that end finished up. Team Gim ended up playing a crosshouse double and a run back to hold Schwaller to 2. But for Schwaller, that was really your goal from the start after the first end. Flash the blank attempt. Obviously, you're not feeling great about that. So really wanted to bounce back and get a 2. That's exactly what they did.
Yeah, and they played a really good end. The one shot they probably want back is Selena Gaffner probably wants to throw that come around the corner guard again. Just get the speed right, even if it's back 8. If she had a little bit more weight, it would end up, buried and perfect. And then they've got a real problem. But like you said, good result. Even end for those analyticers. That's the word I made up for yesterday, right? I like it.
That must have been in a different game. I would have remembered that one.
I think I made that up with Chelsea in the morning game. That's a good one. Write it down.
The analyticers.
Yeah. I pretend I don't like it, but it's just I'm not really smart enough to understand it, so I just ignore it.
It's unique. That works too.
No.
Or nothing if not that.
I still think if you score 2 every time you have the hammer and don't give up any steals, you're going to win a lot of games.
First rock in the house. Schwaller now again going right to the corner guard for the first time in this game.
See if Schwaller throws a tight guard. What's the best way in your view? I think we talked about it yesterday a little bit. We talked about, how Nicholas doesn't like, spreading them out. So what is the best way to guard against the 5-rock rule when a team's trying to make a deuce and throwing corner guards on you? What do you think is the best way to do it, Tyler?
My tendency would be to get 2 in, 1 mid-tight guard, so you can't hit and roll off the guard and go onto the paint. But they're going to have to deal with it at some point. And your opponent has to decide if you have that second rock in. Or you're just going to leave 2 of them in there, ignore it, and go into the corner, and allow you to guard 2. And right now, it's kind of the same type of situation. They've thrown the guard first, but if they went under the corner, there's a decent chance that they would wrap another one around the center. We've seen a lot of teams this week, and I think more than I can remember seeing in the previous slams, chasing draws around corner guards and freezing without hammer, which is kind of a curling 101 no-no in the past, but more and more teams seem to be comfortable playing that shot now.
Well, yeah, and I think the teams are still figuring out how to deal with it when they do make the good corner guard and then they make the good come around, and yeah, you might have one buried in the middle, but if you don't deal with it right away, you just know it's going to be there all end. And that's kind of the team with the hammers thing. That's our second point. Now, if we can get shot rock in the middle, odds are we're going to get 2, but as we know, chaos theory at work, all sorts of things happen in between strategy and execution and then even results.
That's the fun part. You got it all mapped out, and then there's one half miss, and well, now that doesn't work anymore.
It is still a game of misses in a lot of ways. Obviously, the makes are super important, and that's how you win games, but often it comes down to one big miss as much as it comes down to one big make.
Last draw from Team Gim, stopping in the top of the 8-foot, so Schwaller trying to chase and freeze. Big wide swaths taken on this carve sweep.
That's the Swiss method. We're going to name everything today.
That's a good idea.
We get that from Pablo. He does that for sure, and he's going to shred his young shoulder. But
well, Pablo, when he does it, he's starting from a spot that's a lot wider and crossing
higher.
Yeah, and crossing the entire path of the stone. This method here looks as though it's starting from the center of the stone and then going 1.5 foot past it on a track that the rock will never be on.
You don't want to do that if that's what's going on. You definitely want everything, whatever you're doing, unless you're cheating and shoveling shit in front of the rock, you definitely want the broom to be in front. There's a great shot for Schwaller, but unfortunately Team Gim threw it. I had to double check there. Was that it? I was about to say great shot, and it's like, oof.
Nice result for Schwaller. And now they'll have Team Gim chasing once again.
And those yellows are lined up to just dead jam on that one that's buried. So
almost time to chat.
Just draw to where Xenia's broom is, and they got to run it back. There is no triple there. I say that with 51% confidence.
That's enough.
Just thinking about splitting them and getting kind of 3 in there. That you have to throw a bit of weight, though. I'm not sure that's necessary. What do you like here, Ty?
I tend to agree with you, Brent. I think anything you wrap around that center, you're in good shape. If those 2 rocks weren't in the top of the 8-foot, that's exactly what you'd be playing for sure, is drawing right around the top 8. So I think you just play it like those rocks aren't there if you don't think that the triple's there.
I really don't think it is, and I almost like it top 12. If you go right onto the Slam logo there in Grand Slam of curling, then the run back into the pocket would be makeable a couple of different ways, but if it's top 12, there's really no catchers for it to stick. They're really worried about this, or do we have the colors mixed up?
sehen wir, ja.
Maybe that was a great shot, and they're actually red.
Ja, im Moment so, wie es liegt.
The yellow one in the hack, so.
They're definitely yellow.
Es kann schon sein, dass er ein bisschen abdingselt. So.
A lot of conversation here early in the game, though.
Nur eine Guard würde er nie spielen.
Could guard it.
Weißt du, wenn
I
sie
don't like the
tappt,
guard.
können wir
'Cause
auch tappen.
They come around and either freeze or tap, and now you've guarded your short little run.
Weißt du, wenn sie nachher drauf schießen, hat sie 2 Corner.
Yeah, or they run the center red one into the side yellows and just open it up. Like
Hinter 4.
I'm going back to the original call, which often
Sonst ist der
people
Corner
do. And
Guard.
I think she just said it's a corner guard. I don't know what they're doing. We're gonna find out. That's ice to probably guard. That doesn't look like ice to come right in. Middle 12. Could be ice to kind of half and half it, maybe.
Yeah, you could show the high side of that rock and be fine. So yeah, maybe just guarding the inside of that top 12 stone. I think I still prefer the come around draw, but I like staggering it, like you said, Brent, more than I like just straight guarding that rock.
Oh, they're playing a chip something. Like they're really intently calling line here, like they're trying to move something.
They like to come off the inside of this then, apparently. All right, so rolls close to where we were talking about throwing it in the first place with the tap.
And now she can hit and not end up with something in the forefooot. Before she couldn't do that. Can't really, I don't think you can make the triple. It would have to be like a 4-second hit.
Yeah, you're playing to get 2 of them going for sure.
The triple would be ultra thin, and I think you'd hit the wide one. Like it has to go across the top, but anywhere in the pocket here, you're gonna kill 2 and leave 1 there, which is a better situation.
Suji gonna lose 2 yellows here. Does get 2, rolls the 3rd count.
Pretty good results. That red one's really hard to remove. And it's easy to come off of. Yeah, that's trouble. I think you have to draw here.
Yeah, and even with the draw, the problem is they can still play that same double and sit 2nd and 3rd. Maybe a double back, depending on where it goes. But they're playing the in-turn draw. Still a lot of rocks left in this end, too. Jim still has 4 rocks to throw to try to set up a multiple point end.
Okay, good.
Right on the button. Partially buried.
Playing straight to the run back here. And because it's right on the button, I think this is kind of called for. It's been all Team Schwaller, though, for the last 27 and a half minutes. The first end even was just kind of basic, but Team Schwaller's been the better team so far, for sure.
Here's the sweep a little bit there. Just gets the 1. Now they can replace with the yellow guard.
No in off that red one now that's really any good.
Yeah, that's losing that stone and not getting the back one makes a huge difference. Yeah, that in off double no longer available. So kind of useless to play that red stone.
I think if you hit it on the high side, it just scoots right across the top of Shot Rock on the button. So they put that one right on the button was well swept to the exact right depth. And now guarding one dead on the button.
Really needs to finish. Still a hole right now.
Okay.
It looks like there still is a hole if they want to come through.
Ooh, you're a better curler than me if you're getting through there, but
It's a little
Probably
tight,
is.
but
You're probably right.
could be the old trap shot.
Just tempt them. That looks terrible from that angle.
Yeah, I don't want to throw it. The run is probably an easier shot. I think that's what they're lining up for.
Run the red one. It's your color coming in, which is better, and it's a tighter guard, which makes it easier. So, Team Gim going to need a big shot here to turn, not only to turn the end around, but just to score a point this end. Sounds pretty good.
There it is.
Stay buried.
Doesn't quite stay for shot rock.
Nope. Schwaller better be very careful they don't draw one into a spot where there's a double into that little no. Doesn't even look close on the overhead, but yellow.
Yeah, it looks to be fairly easy.
So cannot be that depth. Because if it over curls or under curls and leaves it on the right side as we're looking at it, if it's top 8, you're going to leave a double.
Quick spin around the other sheets. We're on sheet A. Hasselborg leading Inglis 2-1 in the third. Sheet B, Kim 3-1 over Kitazawa in the third end. And on sheet D, Tirinzoni with a 3-0 lead over Constantini after 2. Really wide broom here, Brent, for this draw. They're out in the middle of the 12-foot. Yesterday, that would have curled the mid 8-foot, probably.
Yesterday, that would have hit the corner guard.
So with the scratched stones, he's playing for considerably more curl. And I think they're also taking a conservative broom to make sure they don't over curl and leave what you were talking about, Brent. Any chance at a double that peeks out the other side. Can't imagine that should be an issue with this broom.
It's really the only way that that yellow shot rock in the top 8 is going to be removed this end is if they leave something. Because even a run back, it's just going to jam on the back red. So if I'm a sweeper here, I'm making pretty damn sure this is past top 8. T-line sounds fine, but don't want to leave them to roll into that red one at the back either. That would be shot. That's exactly what they're going to do, though.
Yeah, that over curls all the way to the open on the opposite side.
That's definitely not there. There's no yellow double. That's crazy talk.
I'd be awfully tempted just to hit it right on the nose. Dare him to hit, and if they nose back, there's your double. Because really, with the height of those guards, I mean, if you're hitting and rolling underneath the corner, you're playing for a 2. And you got a pretty good chance of getting 2 if you make the roll. But if you're really playing for the big end, you could definitely play this on the nose.
She's playing this with weight, thinking she might be able to get into that yellow. I've been proven wrong a lot of times, so it may happen again, but I'm going to go for I don't think so.
So they think they can catch the back of that stone?
That's what they're saying, I think. Look at the ice they're taking. Why else would you throw this so hard?
This better have some heavy rotation then, too, to kick off.
Heavy rotation and slide tight and set it so it has a little fade to it, too. Sounds simple.
So we'll see if Kim Eun-ji can make contact with the second yellow. Throwing the high hard one. I mean, that's right where you needed to hit it.
Yeah.
If you're going to catch it, still might not have made contact.
I don't think that still hits it, and you need to throw it 312 feet harder. But like you said, now what?
Yeah, now you got to be very careful with where you hit this.
There's a jam on the red if you're really conservative, too. Like, jam it there and leave them shot. And roll out. Draw for 2. Nose hit might be the shot.
And nose doesn't leave a double.
But don't hit and roll to that broom right there.
So, das ist gut. Wenn kann ja auch schon weit.
Yeah, the foot roll is death.
Cannot jam on the back though, so I think the nose is the easiest.
They're playing to roll center.
Sounded like it.
Which there's 2 very bad results on either side of that. If you under-roll just a little or over-roll just a little, you leave the double or you could jam. Big shot here from Xenia Schwaller. Sitting second count. Trying to roll center and sit 2.
Close to the in-between.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, really good. Rolls right to center line, partially buried. No double accessible.
It was a very important and precise shot that was called and made. Almost perfect. You might want to roll another inch or 2, but that was a defensive shot. They weren't thinking steal there. They were thinking, let's not give up 3.
And impressive on that inside-out track that I'm sure they were a little bit unfamiliar with, too. They played somewhere between control and normal there. Really well done by the young skip once again. Brent, you mentioned the first end, or after the first end. We'll see how the young team bounces back, and they've been in total control since.
See if Team Gim, Yunji can make this and tie up the game and then kind of switch the momentum somehow here, but they need a spark for sure.
Final shot, third end. Yamunji. Soft weight hit to score her single. Hanging a little bit, trying to get it to turn over now late. Will it stick around? Just good enough. That will be 1 for Gim. They are taking a look to make sure for second count. We don't think it's particularly close, but they are going to measure.
Looks like a delay game even from up here, doesn't it?
Yeah,
It doesn't even look close.
We've seen a few skewed by overhead views, but I can't imagine that this one is that skewed.
Ja, nein, es bringt ja nicht schlechter Stein. Sollen wir es am Eismeister sagen, wegen dem Stein?
I'm going to pretty confidently call yellow. 1-0 this week.
Also weißt du, dass wie etwas drunter.
I think you're about to go to 2-0.
Well, I hope so. Because if this one's wrong, I'm not going to be sure about anything the rest of the week.
You're going to need to lean on that measuring stick pretty hard to make that red one count.
Ich denke es auch nicht, wenn bei Fabian pickt. Weißt du, wenn es etwas am Stein ist, es ist etwas im Stein.
Might need to straddle that stone like they've been doing with the sweeping with a little heel.
Or if she was really hoping for a miracle, you let the other team measure so they kick it.
Crush. Yeah, you're breaking the stone there, ladies.
Just one.
One it is. We move to 2-0 in the booth for the week. Score tied 2-2 after 3 ends of play.
Peace of mind, confidence, and financial independence. At World Financial Group, we believe your path to any of these goals is paved by financial education. That's why our agents spend every day empowering individuals and families of all backgrounds with the knowledge to make choices that fit their goals. No matter your financial goals, WFG can help you own your future. Visit worldfinancialgroup.com to learn more.
After the apparently unnecessary measure there in the third end, Team Gim does indeed get their single point. Score tied 2-2 with Team Schwaller. Fourth end of action in our feature matchup here on Sheet C. Team Gim once again going to the center guard. Start this end off.
If I'm Team Gim, I'm feeling pretty fortunate to be 2-2. But I'm thinking, what do we need to do differently? I mean, the answer is always make more shots, but maybe we need to change. You know, if they're getting the angles on us in the middle, maybe we got to stop going to the middle, or maybe the corner guards are killing us. Maybe we need double centers. Calling this short or in? I didn't see from Xenia.
Looks like they're calling it to the wing in the house.
Interesting for the fourth end.
A little change in tactics here from Team Schwaller.
Seeing if I was Team Schwaller, I'm thinking we're killing them. Just keep setting it up.
Yeah.
They're bound to miss, you know. You need your skip to keep you in there, but she can't. Well, she can do it all day, but you hope she can't do it all day.
Yeah, this is not the situation where you want to shorten the game. I think if you're Team Game, you're happy to trade hits right now and try to get a little rhythm going again. You've been chasing for 2 straight ends. So I 100% agree, Brent. It's taking the foot off the pedal right now is not the time to do it.
I just like double centers all the time, though. So. Freeze now, yeah, okay. Bit of a rope-a-dope situation there.
Okay. Now this is the type of end you might see at the Junior Worlds too.
Tells me they're okay and almost even preferring a blank though, which is kind of strange.
I don't mind this call now. I didn't like the draw in to start with, but if you want to try to drag the game away from the center, this is a good way to do it. But if it is indeed just a play for the blank, if they end up hitting rolling out at some point, or the freeze is made good enough that they lose both and the shooter, then they peel the blank, then yeah, you were playing for a result that they shouldn't be right now with the way they're dominating the game.
Especially with the rule right now, you don't want to have to. You don't want to get forced in 5, and even if you score 1 here, if you can force in 5, then you're tied with playing 6. That's a really good situation. But who knows what's going to happen, Tyler? That's why we play all the ends until you're down so many you quit.
That is such a great part of our game too.
It really is.
I don't want to play anymore.
Yeah, I'm
so
done.
You don't have
this
to.
Doesn't feel good.
I've played 2 ends and said, this is not fun. I'd like to stop playing now. It really should be an option in all sports.
The worst is probably when you know you're going to lose, but you're not down enough to quit, and it's like, we're just going to be out here for another 45 minutes.
You're down
bust
3
our ass,
without playing the...
And we're going to lose
6.
like 2.
Yeah. These guys are really good. We're not good right now.
I've only ever shook hands, and I know you have to play 5 ends here.
Yeah.
There was a game one time we gave up 6 in the first and we quit. We knew we had to play again at the old Welton Beauchamp. Ottawa Curling Club, whatever the farthest sheet on the right is, 5 or 6, and gave up 6 in the first, and that was it.
Who was that against? I gotta know now.
Oh, I don't know. Must have been 4 incredible players. I actually don't remember. It might have been. I don't know. I was playing with Heath McCormick, Jay Young, and Sean Harris.
What a squad.
Oh, just legends.
Shout out to Heater.
Follow the Heater.
Nobody could. Nobody ever will.
No.
The drift is a gift.
We had a great time, and we were getting better and better, and then Glenn Howard called, and I felt a little bit bad, but...
Not really bad.
Well, I was excited, obviously, but Heater and Sean were just
great shot
so
here.
Great. Both saying, you got to do it. And it was like, well, I wasn't really asking, but I'm glad you said that anyway. But it was at the end of the season, for those listening, not in the middle. If that matters to anybody anymore.
Really good shot there from Team Gim's second, Kim Soo-ji, right on the nose.
I want to nose this one back and stay shot, but the key is just making sure you're shot. Holy, how easy are these?
My goodness.
Not as easy as that looks.
That
now
it's to the inch exactly where you want to be. And they threw that hard, too, right? That's really hard to do. Shot rock.
There's a reason we're up here now, Ty.
I don't want to have to make that shot. Jeez.
That used to be shot of the game material.
I'd be revved about that one. I'd be looking at the crowd like, come on. You see what I just did? Team Gim trying to do it right back once again. pretty good.
Really good.
Still shot rock, too.
At least they can blast that on the nose now and not worry about it.
And they're looking at it like, where do we have to hit it now to be nose-nose?
Just hit and roll a foot and have it roll right in behind us.
Not likely just firing this one to have them both go. But again, to your point, Brent, I mean, they're trading out open shots regardless of the skill level of these shots, where there's no real danger for Team Gim. And Schwaller really could have gone after him this end. Really let him off the hook.
It really looks like a blank at best for Schwaller.
This is hanging a little bit. So now
That's no good.
It was out. Now it's a draw around the center guard. So match shot for a while. Schwaller blinks first, so Gim now has the opportunity to go around center guard. No threat of a 2 right now for Schwaller.
Big shot to apply some pressure here, and this could be the end that really kind of flips the momentum. Just kind of a nothing happening end to maybe a big steal here. Have you checked out the Rock Shop this week yet, Tyler? Any new gear? I need a new hat. I need the blue version. These hats are awesome.
I hadn't really given it too much of a look yet. The nice thing is you have to. Every time you come into the arena, you have to walk through the Rock Shop like it's a duty-free shop.
Oh, nice.
Brilliant.
That's the plan, eh?
Yeah. You can't get into the arena without going through the Rock Shop.
And then après curl tomorrow night?
Is that when it starts? Is it tomorrow now?
I think so. I'm not one for those types of places, so I'm
No,
never sure.
I've heard about it.
Yeah. And Grand Slam of Karaoke Saturday night. Oh, we're just getting warmed up here, Guelph. Crowds are getting bigger. Evening crowd tonight's expected. Those ticket sales have been great through the week.
Yeah, I think we're going to see some big crowds over the weekend, too, with people coming in from Toronto to attend the event.
It's pronounced Trana.
Okay,
that's how we say it up here, Trana.
Is that how you say it?
No, not really. Toronto.
We actually
do say, I do say Toronto, like T-R-O-N-T-O.
Yeah. Like T-R-O-N-O, Toronto?
It's not Toronto, that's for sure. Ooh, there's a good shot. And forget what I said, out of nowhere. Strategy was perfect. Put the deuce on the board for Schwaller.
Yeah, the draw under curls and leaves the hit and roll.
It's hard to throw a draw out here and leave it that open so that they can hit and roll. That's unforced error, but a great shot there. Selena makes up for her first one.
It may have just drawn him into the trap, though, as we know Gim loves playing this
for sure.
Center run back, so let him make the roll, and then I'll just make this run again.
Hey, ladies, jump on my back again. I can do this all day long. I can go Lionel Richie on this. Do it all night long. Even if she makes contact, if she doesn't stick it, she's going to have to do it again on her next one in all likelihood.
Out-turn run back. Skip Gin Unji.
Super close.
Oh, just feathers it. Does not remove the stone.
It was right. That was super close. Open side. Split it around the guard. I don't like going around the guard. Yeah.
Einfach so, dass wenn sie den Roll spielt, nicht besser ist. Kann sie natürlich davor rollen.
You draw somewhere, and I heard Rolla. Like if you're gonna draw, you got to draw somewhere where when she makes the hit and roll, you're still shot.
Wo ist der beste Spot? Ja, das ist einfach Shot beim Roll. Geht hinter 4 Bissen.
That would be perfect right there. Really, really hard double. Always going to be shot
Wo ist der beste Spot?
if they make the roll. It's a very precise draw, though.
Yeah, your other option is just throwing it, biting top 8 somewhere in their open side and daring them to make the roll. But you got to make it perfect to not give 2 still.
Yep. Definitely want this in the rings. That's mission 1.
On
and
the
if we
paint
can,
would be good.
If we can place it perfectly,
Musst mehr
put some pressure on the sweepers here, Xenia, and give them a chance to put it right where you want it. And the mistake here is the best mistake is, over sweeping it back 8, back 12, and then they'll probably take on the double and probably would roll out, but an interesting end that I did not see heading this way, but here we are.
Out-turn draw for Xenia Schwaller. They get to open back 8 foot, either biting or just off the 4 foot, right where the broom head is. Line looks to be good.
Pressure on the sweepers now. This looks like
it's all there.
Sweeping it.
Maybe just a little deeper than they would have liked. That roll will be shot rock now.
Okay.
See if they look at taking on the double.
The double and roll would be extremely difficult. The straight roll is probably plan mission number 1, though. She taking on this double? They are.
I'm not real surprised with how she's called her own shots throughout this game. I don't necessarily agree with it, but
she's made them all, I think. Almost all of them.
It's a slash double attempt here. Kim Eun-ji trying to get away from a 2-point end for Schwaller.
But if I'm Schwaller, I'm super relieved here. I know the hit and roll is really difficult, but this, if it's made, we get a blank, which obviously we're okay with, the way we called the end.
Really close.
Accidental perfect roll.
Oh, that's dirty. Rolls too far and doesn't get the double, so open draw for 2 for Schwaller. Conservative strategy starting the end off. Pays off because of the error on the come-around draw by Kim Min-ji.
Like we said, open side always leads to a deuce,
always.
Right? In the 4th especially. Same path, super comfortable. This is almost a gimme.
Don't need to throw this one any different for Schwaller. Last stone of the first half of this feature matchup. Xenia Schwaller needing to touch the 8 foot for her second point. Starting to curl now. Should be just fine. That will be 2 for Schwaller. So after 4 ends, headed into the break, they have a 4-2 lead over Team Gim.
When it comes to the game we love, having the right gear makes all the difference.
Gold Line's new curling shoes and brooms are a game changer.
The shoes, unbelievably comfortable.
And the brooms, lightweight and effective, giving you control on every sweep.
When I step onto the ice, I'm not just prepared, I look sharp.
Have you seen these shoes? They are a game changer.
And the brooms, light as a feather.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
And is the choice of champions.
There's a place where the world's best curling not only lives, it rocks. Download the new Grand Slam of Curling app and live stream all the action. Get exclusive content, stats, merch, and more. Let's rock.
I've stood at the pinnacle of curling and battled in the most intense games.
Out on the ice, there's no room for compromise.
And when the pressure's on,
every millimeter counts.
It's not just a game.
It's about maximizing performance,
pushing limits,
seizing victory.
When victory hangs in the balance,
I know what I'm relying on.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
And it's the choice of champions.
When you've conquered another game, a long day, a job well done, and the final work call, we're your place. Come as you are and fit in comfortably. Mr. Mike's. Eat locally, enjoy casual.
peace of mind, confidence, and financial independence. At World Financial Group, we believe your path to any of these goals is paved by financial education. That's why our agents spend every day empowering individuals and families of all backgrounds with the knowledge to make choices that fit their goals. No matter your financial goals, WFG can help you own your future. Visit worldfinancialgroup.com to learn more.
Schwaller leading Gim 4-2 in our feature matchup here. WFG Masters in the Grand Slam of Curling. We're from Sleeman Center in Guelph, Ontario, Canada. Tyler George here with three-time world champion Brent Lang. Brent, Team Schwaller, you had the question right after the first end, after flashing the blank attempt, if the young squad would be able to bounce back, and really had total control of the game from the second end through the break, and now lead 4-2.
Yeah, they haven't been in trouble at all, really. I mean, my memory's short, but the first end was just a simple end. Second end, they could have got multiples. They only got 2, but that was pretty solid. Third end, you know, never really in huge trouble. Had them, you know, actually had big chances. And then the fourth end, strange end, but a fantastic result with, again, no real pressure. Had one chance there for Team Gim to put them in trouble, and they didn't throw a good come around, and that is not a good corner guard either. They're going to have to throw another corner guard.
Yeah, that rock will be virtually useless without another one stacked underneath it. I would definitely want to throw a tight center now if I'm Team Schwaller.
Looks like maybe they're calling this in, but I don't think it's there. It's fine, so Gim's gonna have to decide. If we want a corner guard, we gotta throw another one, but then we're gonna be dealing with 2 around this center, so maybe we just should draw around the center. I think that's what I would end up with here, but
they will draw around. Maybe try to move that rock a little bit behind the tee line wouldn't be the worst thing. I don't think, Brent, down by 2 with, you want to start stacking freezes. So some separation here maybe wouldn't be such a bad thing. This looks really narrow, really light out of hand. Sweeper's hammering this just to get it to the other guard right now.
can't move that off the center line, but it's short of it anyway, and that's a big miss. Not sure what happened there. Turned the brain off for a second, or maybe a soft pick early and just got it off track and lost all its speed.
An easy decision for Schwaller, immediately playing the out-turn come-around draw. A little short on time for Schwaller at 15 minutes, 13 seconds left for Team Gim. 18:35. Nothing drastic for Team Schwaller, but would like to play with a little pace. Really nice come around here to the top of the forefoot. And it comes out the other side a little bit.
Double peel, maybe can get it going back there.
Yeah, they'd really like to keep at least one of the Reds around as a corner if they can, too. Down by 2, they need to create some offense. Let's keep one Red around and extreme corner. Not a bad result, but going to be chasing for a while with this setup. Fabienne Reeder playing the out-turn guard. Don't see much of a 2 right now, Brent. Be tough to bring that corner into play even.
Never say never. I didn't see a deuce last end either. I was calling for a steal, and it ended up being the simplest deuce of all time. But no, this is a bail situation still for Team Gim. Got to make a runner here. And
good guard there, too, right on the center line.
You could get all 3 here, though, if this is hit right. And at least open up an easy score. Maybe open up, come around the corner guard or something.
Big shot for second Kim Soo-ji.
No dice. Rinse and repeat for Team Schwaller. They'll keep guarding this as long as they can.
A good spot here for Schwaller. Not only in control, but easy, quick calls. Bank a little more time. Love this to be in almost exactly the same spot as the last one. Maybe even curl a hair more.
Those long carve strokes got her over there. That's pretty perfect. It's still there to make maybe all 3 go away. I don't think you can change gears. Need to make some noise, which means that first one you hit needs to hit something else. Straight peel is no good here. Too late in the end.
Looked like she kind of started that one just a touch, but it's holding the line.
So much better.
Yep, good result.
Gonna have to make that again, though. But at least it's a red one and nothing in the 4-foot now, so open up a little chance. Now if you could get a little miss out of Selena here, maybe you could turn to offense.
Where's your ideal spot here, Brent, with this out-turn come around?
Right back to the top of the button. I don't see why you wouldn't want to. And if you get it to the top of the button on a good line, you can get it mostly buried, and then they're playing that run back again, which I'm okay with. Don't really want this back 4. That's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with where that stopped. And now, but if I am Team Gim, I'm drawing. You miss this run back now and you're dead. Throw a decent draw in there anywhere, even for second shot, and you're going to have a chance.
I'll bet you they play the run.
Oh, I couldn't gamble. It's not allowed. It's not set up yet. They're talking about it. They have gone to the run back a ton. And
yeah, that was not a preference call. That's a, this is what I think they're going to throw call.
Yeah, that's what they've kind of shown us all game, eh?
Yep.
Saved myself some money there, Tyler.
Out-turn run. Third Kim Minji.
This one has to make noise, too.
Really close.
Oh, really good. How good are these girls at run backs?
And that stays in the house, which is very important for Team Gim.
2's not dead yet.
Yeah, you're probably hitting now.
You have to. I guess you could draw, but that would be, you're going to have to make 2 real good draws and hope they don't make the run double for 3.
If you draw, they're playing the run again.
Hit and roll.
That 2-point lead, ladies. Play the scoreboard. You can still get the same result with the roll, too. It's at a good depth to play the roll.
You could roll this right to almost full 4-foot, dead buried, and but another end where it's been nothing but offensive shots for Team Schwaller. Really no stress. And Team Gim has been asked for nothing but precise bail shots. Got to get exhausting at some point. Only one game a day, though, so I mean, how hard can it be?
Mentally exhausting.
And they say that they're more athletes now than we used to be. We used to play 3 a day. Come on.
We'd have 4 game days sometimes.
Why not?
There were 10 ends.
I mean, we were dead after.
Yeah, we didn't like it.
How many Advil do you think you took in your life?
Oh.
I won't name the teammate. The one time I said I didn't take any Advil, and he looked at me, you crazy? Like before the game, you didn't take any?
Are you mad?
You know what I've never said to myself? I took too many Advil.
The roll goes right to side of the forefoot beside the number 1 counter. Now putting the broom down for freeze.
I'd like to move this probably at least a rock, open up a little more room on the button.
Yeah, you make this perfect, you're almost assuredly scoring.
You'll have a very simple shot to score if you come down and bump this on the nose. You might be able to pick it out with a great shot, but then you'd have the same shot with backing.
Yeah, you want to move it far enough that maybe space for a second one. But you do have the out-turn draw as well.
It's also if you just bump it a rock and then they freeze on top of it, you'll have a double off the side one for 2. Not that you need to make the double, but that'll be the easiest way to get one to the button. If that's moved to a rock and you double into the side of it, you'll have a piece of the button.
In-turn freeze attempt. In Unji. Again, would love to move that rock back to the forefoot. Needs to be shot rock with this stone. May not get another chance otherwise. Weight's all there.
This is a little heavy.
Well, she left space to clear it.
Weight
That
was
could be
close, but now
trouble
we got
here.
a problem, yeah.
That's perfectly lined up to poke that through the hole and roll to the top of the button.
That would be a problem.
Actually, dead nose might be even better yet because of where that backstone is. He knows they may not have the roll. They have to try to draw a chip off of it.
It probably knows the back one. If she does make the roll, they might be able to make the double and get shot, but maybe not. I think if you lie 3 here, you're pretty happy.
Yeah, so what do you prefer, nosing it
sure.
and making them play the out-turn draw against the 3, or making the roll? Well, you make the roll, it's a tough score.
I think I'd like the roll, yeah. I think
have
you
to
want to
roll.
roll it half a rock, right to splitting the center line, basically, just dead buried there. And what do they play? Do they play the double off the wide one and hope to spin up for a piece of the button for shot?
That's probably it.
Because you will potentially have a piece of the button.
If you get the nose, you're pretty happy. If you get the roll, you're really happy.
I could get on board with that. Gotta get the speed right. Overthrow this. This could track, especially with Unia throws a lot of rotation, and there's a lot of add at the end. It's almost like I used to call it like a heavy rock almost. So it's heavy. They're calling heavy already and carving it.
Yeah, this is a long ways to curl.
Oh,
We've seen her miss a few of these in-turns wide and really getting this to turn over. Look at this carve.
Working it.
That is a great sweep.
Check
that
the
stone
broom
in
head.
there. Oof.
Hey?
That thing was a mile out there and spinning.
Just on a string.
If you don't think that carving makes a difference, watch the replay on that shot. Really well done. Look at where this stone is right now, Brent, compared to where it ends up, too. And that was on some backward momentum with spin.
Maybe the Swiss monster stroke is the one.
Maybe they got something figured out. We've been told, in our entire curling lives that once the brush path goes outside the path of the stone, that you're wasting energy. But something about what they're doing there and what Pablo does also for Swiss seems to have a dramatic effect on the curl.
Lots of pressure on this one, Tyler.
Out-turn draw against 3. 14 Gim.
근데 여기 길 때문에. 볼게.
Line looks to be pretty good.
Perfect, as long as it's not heavy.
Really well done. Nice shot. Right to the lid like
Too
it's
easy.
Nothing. Gim gets the single on that draw against 3. Schwaller will have hammer in the 6th, leading 4-3.
When you've conquered another game, a long day, a job well done, and the final work call, we're your place. Come as you are and fit in comfortably. Mr. Mice. Eat locally, enjoy casual.
When it comes to the game we love, having the right gear makes all the difference.
Gold Line's new curling shoes and brooms are a game changer.
The shoes, unbelievably comfortable.
And the brooms, lightweight and effective, giving you control on every sweep.
When I step onto the ice, I'm not just prepared, I look sharp.
Have you seen these shoes? They are a game changer.
And the brooms, light as a feather.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
And is the choice of champions.
Pressure draw from Kim Eun-ji on her final stone up the 5th. Looking at 3 Schwaller stones in the 4-foot. Draws the lid. Gets her single, now only trails 4-3 onto the 6th end.
She continues to hold her team in it. They've just been in nonstop, almost jail every end. And Eun-ji just keeps coming up with the goods.
And numerous savers for her team so far, but Brent, when you're trailing, all it's doing is keeping you in the game. Eventually, whether or not you crack, you're not able to generate any offense right now. And without hammer trailing in the last 3 ends, our curling math we talked about, that doesn't map out very well.
So in the 4th end, when they were tied, they went open side. Now they're up 1 width, and they know Team Gim's going to probably, if we went open side, they're going to throw another center. Well, I should say they should. I don't know that they would, but I think they would. So let's just beat them in there. They're probably still going to throw another center.
And I like, if you're playing that shot, you don't really need to bury either. You're just throwing it to the 4-foot. You almost want it mostly open.
Yeah, not really a line shot. There's kind of, sometimes you can just focus on one or the other. This one just got to get it on line, and there's a million weights you can make it with, and often it's just a speed shot, and that was just a speed shot. Don't hit the guard and get the weight right, and it's going to end up in a good spot.
Good high guard there. A little bit of stagger.
What was your least favorite shot, Tyler? I think that was mine, the high guard.
The one I almost flashed against you guys in the Olympic semis twice.
Yeah, either one of those flash, and you know,
yeah.
I'm probably a lot happier sitting next to you right now.
I thought I threw the second one really good.
I don't even remember. I blocked
First
that
one
out.
I popped a little bit, but yeah, that was pretty much throughout my career. The inside out turn tend to get a little straight.
Yeah, that's pretty common.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say I haven't watched that replay of that game as often as you have, because I've never watched it.
I've watched it quite a few times, as people in the U.S. like watching that game.
You think so?
If you do promotional events, then they
want
like
to see Canada lose.
They don't mind that part.
That's fair.
They like seeing us win a little more, but
I doubt it.
So let's go more to the positive side. What was your favorite shot?
Probably like a hack weight chase, or
that's me.
The old intern draw to the button.
Yeah, the intern hack weight chase. Give me that all day.
This looks good. Good start to this end. We're going to have action here, getting right across to line up the yellow-red almost, too.
Yeah, that top 12 draw by Schwaller, not in a good spot. Staggered and essentially serves as another guard. Really good freeze there. Kim Soo-ji.
Found the easiest place to throw it hard was out turn, not down center line, just inside it, like just straight out, so I could just line it up at the edge of the rock with the center line and let it go. When I say hard, I mean like 8 seconds, but like at
really
least,
hard.
like really hard.
Yeah. Like to the point the sweepers almost have to run to keep
Almost. Yeah. Look, if I couldn't leave Wayne and Rich in the dust, I wasn't throwing it very hard. Glenn said early on, there's no need to throw it harder, just hit it in the right spot. And so I bought into that, and it seems like there's a lot more margin for error if you throw it a lot harder, though. I think if I was relearning, I would learn how to throw it a lot harder.
Both red guards go, but the yellow stays. They're going to have a chat about this one with a timeout.
So Guy must talk to the coach, and then coach comes out and translates. And I don't know. I think for now you need another guard. You could freeze again. What do you think?
I think with how they're set up, I think you can freeze right now.
You can, for sure.
It's the way that stagger works with that rock in the top 12 foot on the other side, you're kind of using it as a second guard right now.
And it's not like that yellow one is open enough to throw it hard at.
And if you overcurl a little bit to the low side and freeze, it's dragging back to that stone anyways, so the second one's never going. Yeah, I think you get one in there right now. I wouldn't mind a second guard.
Yeah, I could be convinced of either.
근데 만약에 내가 쇼카드를 놓으면 쟤네 그냥 저것만 피라면 아직 여유가 있어. 저것만 피라면 우리가 오는 거죠. 그래서 나는 그냥 이 정도. 이거 미끼 줘. 근데 이게 더블 필이 나오면 별로라. 난 차라리. 왜 별로야? 언니 똥 하나 가서 하면 되잖아. 그러다 마지막에
Yeah, I might be rethinking. I might prefer the second guard right now. It's one of those that if you throw the second guard, you don't make it really good, and they make the double peel, you feel dumb, like, oh, we really should have gone in.
Nobody wants to feel dumb.
이거 직접 주면 별.
Fortunately, curling's going to make you feel dumb lots of times. The best is when you have a conversation, decide a shot, you go down, you make it perfect, and right away the other team puts the broom down and sprints to the other end. It's like, oh, shit. What did we miss?
They're laughing.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I knew those idiots would play that.
You always felt like that playing against Wayne Madaw, but no matter what the situation, he was just going to make it quick, make the call quick.
I know we've talked about this throughout the season too, but we really should be keeping track on make-miss stats coming out of timeouts.
That's a good idea.
See how often teams actually execute when they're taking that much time to talk about a shot, because we generally feel like the slower a team plays or with less pace, the worse the execution is, because there's no game flow. So does that translate to a one-off with a timeout?
Yeah, the old paralysis through analysis kind of thing. Talk yourself out of it almost instead of into it. And yeah, that would be interesting to see. Probably team specific too. Like some teams, when they're used to playing fast, and if they get into a spot where they talk for a while, it gets uncomfortable. Part of why Madaw played so fast is because Krax was in the hack saying, "Put the broom down, put the broom down."
I played with a high-performance director, Phil Drobnik, back in the day when he was still playing. He didn't even wait for me to put the broom down.
Well, there's that too.
He knows he's not going to hit it anyway, so why not just throw it where he's going to throw it? So if it was anything above a draw, I'd be, okay, maybe here. I'd look up and the rock's halfway down the sheet.
But mean it when you put it down, eh?
Yeah.
So they did throw the guard, and just going to peel the top one here. And
yeah, I like the guard when you put it there. That's a really good spot.
How are we going to get that yellow one out now? How do we freeze? The freeze on another one now is a lot harder is the challenge.
And they are re-guarding. Yeah, you may trap yourself into a situation where you're guarding two yellow counters with how these are angled.
See how this plays out, but yeah, it looks very difficult. I mean, right now you could hit the yellow in the top 12 onto the red one, top 8 into the 4-foot. End up with one buried, which would be good. But I don't think Schwaller's going to wait long enough to let you do that, maybe.
Just needs to curl to line up and not leave double peel. Yeah, I think if I'm Schwaller, I'm not concerned about that tighter red right now. as long as the high one goes, I mean, your next shot probably is either, if you're coming in, Brent, if you're Schwaller, they guard again, are you coming in on third, second, or skips first?
Yeah, I don't know. And where are you going to go? There's not really a great place to go, so.
Yeah, no question you're peeling right now.
I would think so.
But that tight red really is, it's not hurting you that much just because of what you said. How do you get to that yellow stone?
The only way to do it is with the other yellow.
Yeah.
At this particular time. But not right now. The red's in the way, obviously. So right now they can't get shot. But it's too early to make a move. There's still three. Too easy to move a couple things around and give themselves 2 ways in, and then you're like, oh, I wish we peeled.
Yeah, and these are the types of situations where when you watch a young team, that it's really easy to think up one with hammer, make the double peel, make those both go, instead of mapping the end out and saying, how are they getting there? And we know what we're supposed to do, but in order for them to do it, they don't have an angle to do that right now. So let's just get rid of the high one because that's going to hurt us more, and then let them figure out how to get in there.
Still guarding. She's looking like she's got an idea, like let's leave the middle one open.
There's really not a run with that one still.
Doesn't really help you.
That initial call makes you think they're concerned about the short yellow run, but I wouldn't be worried about that one.
I think it might be time to freeze. But now they can see just enough of that yellow to throw it hard and get things spinning, but I think you got to take that risk. And you'll still have a center guard. I think you got to try and freeze right on the nose of the red one.
Yeah. If you can get to nose, then that yellow one isn't nearly as useful in the top of the 12-foot. And even if you get to 3/4 frozen, as long as it's not dead frozen so it drags a lot, then you're probably okay. So if you're not going to get to nose, you don't want it to freeze. If you are, then you probably do want it to freeze.
난 7번 같아. 계속 느낌이 그랬어.
I think this is the right time to go in now for Gim.
I think so, and that's what they decided, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe they are playing the freeze. Doesn't look short, or doesn't look deep, I should say.
Look at her legs and feet, how close they are to that rock now.
It's going to wreck the guard.
That red is useful.
That angle's in now.
Not easily, but now here comes a double peel. Really simple double peel, fairly simple.
Get up just a little bit. They both go. It does open up. Tap or freeze.
Freeze or hit and roll and spread them out and try and force. Is a force good enough is what you got to ask yourself.
If you freeze, what's Schwaller doing?
Probably drawing open
forfeit.
Drawing the T-line.
Yep.
And then you're going to give up 2.
Yep.
But if she makes any mistake, maybe you can, if she's a little bit tight and ticks and rolls, leaves a double to life 3, maybe you can leave her a really tough shot. 2 it is too many.
Ideally, you tap it behind the tee line, but with the way it's staggered under that yellow one in the top 12, it's hard to get to nose with enough weight to do that.
Oh, we want to talk about it here.
Yeah, maybe they're thinking the same thing. If we freeze, they hit the 4-foot, we're already giving up 2 anyways. You could play control.
You can hit and roll away. Any kind of weight from.
It should squirt a little bit underneath the rock in the top 12-foot too. It's probably your best setup, actually.
And then Schwaller's going to try and nose that yellow and kind of plant it there for Shot Rock Berry behind hers, which wouldn't be good. But you're going to need a miss here at some point if you're Team Gim. And unfortunately, Schwaller's not going to tell you when it's coming.
You see him even thinking about hitting the top stone and rolling away, too. They are going back to the freeze. But the one thing with the freeze is if you do get that miss from Schwaller on your first, if she doesn't hit the 4-foot, then you got a really good chance of nosing that and sitting 2 or 3. So I guess if you're hoping for a miss regardless, this is the one that would give you the best result if you get the miss.
Not an easy shot, first and foremost here for Team Gim. Got to freeze it on most of this. 7/8 would be ideal.
A little add on the release. Just to be there.
They don't look like they're huge fans of this rock.
Yeah, you could just kind of see with that add, it popped out. Added a little more weight, too.
Particularly close. She won't be happy with that one. So I think Zinni's going to have to draw, though.
Yeah. That just draw open to back 4-foot.
Oof.
I don't know about that. That's a good time for a timeout.
Hey, Dad, what do you think?
Not that. I don't think it's too tough a call here, Brent. I think if you're open, touching the 4-foot, you're pretty safe. I mean, they could hit and roll in, but I mean, it's 1-foot run to score then.
That's makeable. I don't know if it ever drags onto the back one. It's that in between.
Oh, there's too much separation.
No man's land. So maybe it just comes straight back. If it comes straight back, you do get it.
Yeah, right there, right where your broom is right now. That's your spot. I don't know if she's calling it or just letting it rest.
No, she's just standing there, I think.
Hey, see where your broom is right now?
It's a sign from the curling gods.
Yeah, we've moved it there with our minds. Is there another option you like, Brent?
Nope. No, I think you got to make a good draw.
Perfect.
You could also like in-turn draw like just past yours. It's really precise. Right to the tee line. I mean,
yeah, that could line up the nose and they both go.
I like the draw.
Yep. Just don't over curl and you're good. And you can under curl too. I mean, you just got to have a third of the 4-foot.
Yeah, you just can't leave a double and you have to be second shot. So there's not a ton of room for error, but there's a little bit of margin.
So they come to the conclusion that we agree with. Going open 4-foot. Very good chance of getting your 2 if this is made, and extremely unlikely you give up a steal. Schwaller's first in-turn draw is just past the tee line in the back of the 4-foot.
I think it's a little heavy.
It's definitely curling plenty, too. You don't want to be behind your own. So now they're taking it to the back one instead.
It's almost back.
That's going to go too far. Not a great effort there from Xenia.
Be careful. Hitting this could bring 4 into play. So what do you do? That curled enough that it's accidentally kind of a problem.
Yeah. Got to catch her for the other yellow. Lose the back red and have them both stay maybe.
Yeah, and if your shooter stayed where there was a double, like there'd be a double for 4. Which, that would be Miller time for us.
그래서 여기는 다 괜찮은 거잖아. 네, 여기는 괜찮은데 여기 티까지는 오케이. 1번을 만드는 거 진짜 보여줘. 1번 만드는
You can't really guard either because you could do the same thing with the yellow running.
Yeah, that she wanted to play on the last shot. All of a sudden, now it's lined up pretty good.
Perfectly lined up.
슈터가 중요해. 슈터가.
What do? I mean, you make the perfect draw just to the side button, and then she's got a really tough deuce.
I guess. Yeah, she kind of accidentally put him in a tough spot.
Still can't make a mistake here. There'll be a double for 3, potentially, if she kind of chunks and rolls off, but...
Yeah, tap's no good because you have to be able to get to nose. If it staggers at all and taps it, then that could be a million too. Let's see how much this curls too, Brent, because it looked like Schwaller took more broom than what we've been seeing to get to the side of the forefoot, and it's still over curled.
They've kind of been doing that all game. They've been taking wider ice.
This is even a little less broom than what Schwaller had. But Gim has that little bit of an in-out release. It's definitely going to curl enough.
Again, they don't love it.
That says the weight's all there with the path it was on.
It's going to give him backing for the draw for 2. Almost perfect.
Settle in for shot. Not bad. Just got to move it a couple inches for your second point. Probably throw the exact same weight you just threw.
I wouldn't want to throw any more than that, but I guess even if you chip it, you got to score 1 here. So we can't be wrecking on the top, but if you wreck on the top, the feather tick, you wouldn't get 1, but if you chunk it real good. Just don't want to miss too close. If you're going to miss here, miss badly. It should work out on the tight side.
Just be about the same broom as they just had.
Yeah, she ended up with perfect line. You're right. If she can just replicate the last one she threw, she'll get 2 points and a big 3-point lead potentially.
Defending world junior champion Xenia Schwaller. In-turn tap for 2 here in the 6th, already with a 4-3 lead. Line looks a little bit tight. Turning over now. Really not curling as much as the last, but again, that big swath on the carve.
No problem.
No problem at all. 2 for Schwaller in the 6th end. They now lead 6-3 on to the 7th over Team Gim.
There's a place where the world's best curling not only lives, it rocks. Download the new Grand Slam of Curling app and live stream all the action. Get exclusive content, stats, merch, and more. Let's rock.
I've stood at the pinnacle of curling and battled in the most intense games.
Out on the ice, there's no room for compromise.
And when the pressure's on,
every millimeter counts.
It's not just a game.
It's about maximizing performance,
pushing limits,
seizing victory.
When victory hangs in the balance,
I know what I'm relying on.
It's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
And it's the choice of champions.
Great tap on her last for 2 for Xenia Schwaller. Secures the 6-3 lead over Team Gim. On the 7th end, Gim with hammer. Right, same control really for Schwaller. Even though they may have looked like they were chasing that end, they were really never in danger. And made a couple shots late, managed the end well. She may not have made her first one, but played the right shot, ended up in a good spot, and really throughout this game have been in control.
Yeah, it's going to take a big turnaround here for Gim to end up with what would be a surprise victory. Down 3, playing 7 with the hammer. The stats tell you that's not good. But try and score 2 here. Maybe you get a mistake out of Team Schwaller. Maybe you can get 3 and be tied coming home, and then you've got a chance. But even if you get 2, you got a chance coming home. Get a couple of good guards up on the center line that are not tickable and make some shots. They just couldn't quite make that second shot at any point last end to get another one frozen on there or in there somewhere to really set up the steal potential. Trying to stack two in there. The first one's a little high. Rather than bump it, they're going around it by the sounds of it.
Just barely squeaks by. They stagger a little bit. And those are the ones that, if you're trying to create a 2 or a 3, Brent, you can kind of use as guards and draw to the back of the rings. Haven't seen a lot of that this week yet, but you and I have both mentioned that's a shot we really like playing. Using the rocks in the house if you do get that stagger to go around to back 8, back 12.
Yeah, the good news for Team Gim is that those rocks, there's basically a nose double, so it only takes one shot to get rid of both. So yes, they have to deal with them eventually, but it's only going to take one shot.
Second corner up for Team Gim. There's that 5th rock once again in the 5 rock free guard zone, Brent. Throwing to the guard. You really want to get this tight, though. At least mid-tight.
Looking a little bit heavy here, but sweepers haven't touched it. This is looking like it's in the rings.
Definitely looks in. Just now started curling. Just to the top of the house, and good opportunity to get a few of these moving and keep the shooter around. Pretty safe angle to play. Just don't want to overthrow it. In-turn hit and roll attempt. In Suji. Just playing this with maybe hack wave.
Not sure if that's good, bad, or...
It did move one stone to back 12, but play your scoreboard here. I think things would look a lot better without those corner guards there.
So if you peel a corner, they go around a corner, you peel the other corner, they freeze one in the middle. Got a bit of a problem.
And you have your guard really right now if you're concerned about those 2 stones.
I don't hate this. I know it's a little crazy and it's way too early, but I don't hate it. Make a good guard about, higher than halfway.
You can get the I don't hate it hat here in the rock shop.
Is that what I'm wearing right now? Is that what this one's called? This is called the Nick Sulsky Special.
That is the Sulsky Special.
The trucker. Yeah, I think that's the problem for Team Gim. Gotta split that red one.
Yeah, that guard is so high that splitting the reds, now you get 2 in the house. And
yeah. Maybe you can even, if you're really fancy here, you could throw this. If you throw it hard enough through the ring's weight, you could split them both behind the corner guards. And then Schwaller might have to guard again.
Yeah, I really needed that guard to be tighter.
Yeah, that needs to be kind of 3 or 4 feet heavier, and then this shot's much harder.
They're really close here, too.
I think she went for it. She's got the weight to maybe get them both behind the corners.
Just needed to catch a little bit more of it.
Yeah, it would have been perfect.
Still
Good shot.
get 2 in, though. Good shot.
But they can just hit and roll on that one. They could guard because they are 4th shot. I'm not sure I'd be hitting 5th shot at the moment.
Yeah, you hit, you sit 4.
Or you throw a tight guard. Out turn in that hole, just right around the WFG logo. Of the WFG Masters, of course.
Here in Guelph, Ontario, at the Sleeman Center.
I'd love to hit and roll right in behind the center guard. And
this is close to a jam now, too.
jam
No, good sweep.
No good.
Held the line very well. The double off of one of the top 12s would be undercover. Be sitting 2nd and 4th.
I might jam on that side red one. Hard to tell from here, but that's code for I don't know.
Yeah, you can make it without jamming.
Oh, you definitely
but
can.
I think you can make it and jam as well. You can also just get 1 and 2 moving and roll under the corner too. Tough to lose them both and get the roll.
Very, and it's mostly buried from the right hack. Still a pretty comfortable situation so far for Schwaller, but we're one really, really good shot away from it being uncomfortable.
I don't mind either shot. The double's good. The out-turn soft weight hit and roll into the corner is pretty good, as long as you move both stones. I think the double's better. Looks like that's what they're playing.
So this is probably, I don't know what they think, but I'm going to say it anyway, probably thinner than they think. To not have it go towards that red one in the back 12 foot there, which the reason you play this double, I think, is to try and bring that back 12 and back into play eventually. Not playing it very hard.
No. That's not going to lose both stones, so they're just playing this to hit and roll, apparently.
Maybe they're playing the slip to shot rock.
It's too thick for that.
Or they were playing that double and roll to hook it, and now you're kind of dead.
I don't like playing that shot with that weight. Take so many options off the table playing it soft.
Like all of them?
Yeah. I'm not exactly sure if they were just playing the straight double to the back.
They must have been, but
because they were hammering that.
Another time out here, a big situation. This isn't going to feel right, but I don't see any hits.
No, I don't know what you'd hit at this point.
I guess the only one they hit would be the one back 12.
Tight center guard looks pretty good.
Yeah, and then they're going to play that in-turn chase. If they can kill it through the hole in my 2nd and 3rd, you're not going to be very happy. I think, yeah, I mean, the automatic call, the gut reaction for most would be the out-turn guard here. But what do they do if they go through and hit that yellow if you don't guard it? Is there a double? It's hard to tell. Selena's kind of blocking my view there. It looks like you'd need to hit a big half. Even 2/3.
Not sure if there's enough.
If it is, it's just.
Boy, I don't know if that's...
But if that's the case, what are we guarding on that side? I could get behind a freeze on that red one. I think that's your best shot.
Yeah, if you're throwing the center guard, it's got to be really, really tight to the house, if not a freeze.
Yeah, frozen right on that red one on like half of it, and then the in-turn chase is a lot harder. 'Cause I'm thinking where that high guard is too, like, I'm thinking the more dangerous shot is the in-turn kind of heavy hack and hit and roll behind the corner. Kill the yellow and lie second and third. But they decided on the really tight guard.
Looks that way. It's an out turn. Tight guard for Team Schwaller. Selena Gaffner.
This one's curling.
All right, even took a little more of the yellow away too, so.
I don't see that double being there now for sure.
If you're playing that, it's tough to stick around even if you're gonna if you're pushing it out of count, having enough weight to push it out of count. I don't know that the shooter's staying.
I don't think so. Could do that, just split it to a double spot and roll behind the corner. And man, that is super hard, but that would be very good. And again, there would be no hits, and they'd have to almost throw a draw again. In-turn freeze one in there for second. That's going to get in the way of that yellow, though. Then they might hit their own yellow top 8 right into yours top 4 and be too buried in line. Yeah, she really likes that. I could buy into that. It's desperation time. I mean, if there's any chance to set up even a scare of a 3 is exciting at this point. This looks really hard, whatever that ice is ice for. Ice just to pick it? Lose your shooter?
I don't know that there's any other result you can get with what you can see of that stone. Because if you don't push this out of count, it's not really doing anything for you anyways.
You either got to push it to where you can come off it for a double, maybe even a triple, or...
Yeah, just chip it soft to the side of the 8-foot.
Or you got to kill it and stay. This is so tight.
Now, this is nose on this guard, but if it gets by the high one.
Not by the high one. Oof. It wasn't very close.
She's had a few narrow, light misses throughout this game, Kim Min-ji. Saw her come up short and narrow on that in-turn draw on the 6th as well.
Full on offense now from here on out for Schwaller. See if they can win the game right here.
Yeah, there's no draw path on the in-turn side either. So they could really choke this off with... I think you want to get it inside the red, Brent, or are you just throwing it high and saying do whatever you want with the run-ins?
Oh, you're thinking you're worried about you want to choke off this red one just above the WFG logo, because there is a run in there that I don't think there's a run double, but it's closer than you'd feel comfortable with seeing.
Yeah, I don't think you can clear both. Maybe you don't even care about leaving that one.
Yeah, I think it'll leave that one for now. And
the only rock that's really useful for scoring, unfortunately for Yin, is the rock that's about 1.5 foot off the boards.
Slice it or super thin in-off.
That's, yeah, the in-off probably for still warm. So out-turn guard for Schwaller. We'll see where exactly they want this. Looks like they're just content to take away the... Actually trying to come in. They're really hammering that to try to get close to the other guard, and you know, it's just a second.
Doesn't
center
change
that
much.
didn't really do very much.
But in the same situation, how do you kill that and stay? I don't think you do. Because if you hit enough of it to stay, it actually is going to touch the other yellow, and then they're both going to stay in the 8-foot. So we're going to have another long chat here about it. This is what I meant by just kind of feels like, I think we're going to lose, but we can't quit, and we're in trouble the whole time. And
I think you got to play the in-off now.
Yeah, sure.
The only chance of getting 2 is to get shot on this throw, because there isn't going to be a shot for 2 on your last if you don't move those stones now.
And you have to get 2 here.
Yep.
Down 2 without. You play and pretend like you have a chance, but you really don't.
It's the only call. Just make this one, get a miss on your last, and then make the in-turn run in for 3.
Okay.
On your last one.
Okay. It's a plan.
Yeah. It still requires a miss and 2 nearly impossible shots.
Big challenges. This is super hard.
Yeah, this is almost a redirect here for Kim Yoon-ji. Really close. That's
okay.
Not a bad result. Now sitting second and third.
And that red, yellow, yellow, there is a shot now to maybe get both those yellows. All right, Tyler.
All right. Now we're talking. It's kind of tough to guard both, too. You got to throw probably an in-turn, or you hit and don't ever be wide. But if you're going to guard, you kind of have to come across the center line and throw it right to the G on the WFG, right? Because you can't leave the angle running, too.
I don't know. Recently, I heard a smart guy say you're 1 shot away from all of a sudden being uncomfortable. Like they were just dead the whole end, and now it's like, uh-oh.
Yeah, really good result there. That's actually, if you're trying to get more than 2, that's a better make than making the in-off to get shot rock. You've got 4 different ways in to get to that yellow stone now.
They are guarding it.
Either just the straight run if it was ever open, the angle run with the corner, the 2 yellows in, or the red on the intern side right behind Gaffner.
The angle red on the right-hand side of the screen as we're looking at it here.
That could clear both yellows.
That's the one for 4.
Yeah.
I mean, it's super, super hard.
Yeah, you really got to throw this to the G on the WFG.
I would agree. So we've got action out of nowhere, really. Looked like I was talking game over, 2 minutes ago.
Really important guard placement here for Xenia Schwaller.
I wonder if that'll curl enough from inside the edge of the 8. Might track on her here.
Yeah, nowhere near right now. It's got a long ways to go. We'll see again.
Super stroke.
She knows it. That's not crossing at all. So that's going to be an open run in, possibly for 4.
Really hard the straight run for 4. Actually hard for 2. For 2 is easy. I mean, sorry, hard for 3.
You can, to make it for 3, I think the shooter has to go.
Yeah, you got to clip that other back one, eh?
Yep. But that lines up fairly well.
Not bad.
Maybe 3/4.
It looks better when I look out on the ice than it does on the monitor. It looks on the monitor like the one coming in to kill shot rock is going to be rolling to the right to kill the back one. Like from that angle, the overhead makes it look possible to save it, but from here it looks very possible.
You're wondering how you got here if you're Team Schwaller.
I'm wondering.
You're looking at you have 4 guards up, and you're up by 3.
Well,
obviously
you missed them all too.
You didn't make them very well, but they were throwing guards for a good chunk of this end.
Just throwing this way too hard. This is like a control weight for 4, I think. Kind of hit and roll to a biter and you get 4. Oh, this is way too hard.
Kim Yoon-ji, see how many she can come up with here. There it is for 3.
Just right there with less weight, but we got action.
We got action. Tie score now after 7 ends, 6-6, Gim and Schwaller.
When you've conquered another game, a long day, a job well done, and the final work call, we're your place. come as you are and fit in comfortably. Mr. Mike's. Eat locally, enjoy casual.
What looked to be a foregone conclusion for this feature matchup here on Sheet C, now all tied up. Again, a couple late misses from Team Schwaller. Come up with 3, and we're 6-6 here at the WFG Masters. From the Sleeman Center in Guelph, Ontario, Tyler George with Brent Lang. Brent, we thought we were an eyelash from handshakes, and instead now all knotted up. Things a lot more tense, and really, if Schwaller makes the guard, there's still a shot in, but probably not for more than 2.
Yeah.
6-6.
We were an eyelash away from handshakes. We didn't think it. We were. Either one of those guards are made, it's completely different. And I think Schwaller, I'm feeling fortunate that Gim threw it that hard because she hit it in the right spot. Didn't roll out by a ton.
Yeah.
But if she hits it right there with just like a control or a normal, it's...
Yeah, I think normal's the way you get 4. You hit that exact spot.
So this is where you got to convince yourself, which is hard to do if you're Schwaller. Hey, we're tied with. This is what we wanted. You start every game planning to be tied with the hammer coming home, which is a great situation. But it doesn't feel great because you were like really killing them the whole game and had a chance to put them away there and all of a sudden give up 3. So
yeah, that's where I'd be worried here if I'm back in Team Schwaller. Is again, the young squad really has controlled the entire game. And even in the 7th, we're not really in any danger at any point. All of a sudden it's 6-6 and you're looking at the scoreboard like, how in the world are we tied up in this game right now? So you just got to stay focused and remember that if you'd been given this situation before the game started, you'd take it 100 times out of 100. Doesn't matter how you got there, just you have hammer coming home tied up.
See if Selena here can, last time coming this way, she made a perfect first one like she did here, and then second was trouble, but this one looks really good. Lined up right to the button.
A great pair by Reischiger there.
That's how you do it.
Those couldn't be any better.
That's going to give you at least 1, maybe 2 chances to peel while you're shot.
Two very good guards as well by Sol Yi-soon. The leads have done their job. 4 perfect shots to start the end. Im Soo-ji trying to follow this up with a tap of her own.
Needs to get it behind the tee line, though. I don't think it's hard enough, and not bad.
Taps it to the button and stays on an angle.
Single peel, and now throw it back. What's the ultimate plan? In-turn, freeze, bump at some point is the problem for Team Schwaller. There's nothing on the right side of the sheet later on for Team Gim to get shot rock. Guarding early didn't work last end, though, so there's going to be some scar tissue there. We're not going to do that.
Yeah, it'd be pretty surprising to see a guard before skip stones at any point for Schwaller now. Still have a pretty good setup with where the angles are at. This would be a quick decision to peel once again.
So when, if your Team Gim, when are you going in-turn freeze bump? Probably not till your third shot.
I was going to say third, second stone. Probably is it, because I don't think for Schwaller there's any chance that they'd do anything different until skip stones.
Oh, right away.
That would be a little early.
1 shot early, I think. Okay.
I don't hate it, but I don't hate it hat. You can get it at the Rock Shop. You're in once again.
We do not get any commission. We just love the stuff.
We do.
I am fully decked out today. I got G-Stock track pants on. Is that what they call these?
That's kind of
joggers.
commission, yeah.
These
are
nice.
some sweet pants.
Yeah, they're nice. Very warm. I was coaching. I have long underwear on today. 2 pair of socks. Feeling pretty nice.
Now, Brent's a company man up here. He's got
I'm easily
the curling
bought.
group hat.
Yeah, you can buy me.
The hoodie, the sweats. I don't see the goose shoes though.
No, I don't have a pair of those.
The
actually.
Langers. My mistake.
Right? I was going to stroke it out and put Langer, but didn't feel right, so I just didn't get any.
That doesn't curl enough on the tap or freeze they were playing. Rolls off a little bit. Angles are really tough for Team Gim right now, Brent. There's not much way in.
This would be extremely nice if they could make this double and get rid of that side 4-1.
Big shot here. Selena Gaffner, she can make this run in, lose both reds. Oh, really well done.
That's huge.
Great shot from Gaffner.
Tough to go now for Gim, but they've seen worse and got better last end.
That's true.
Move that, leave an immiscible double. I don't know about that.
That's the skip's best friend there. That made your skip's job a lot easier.
I think I'm playing the out turn, come around to the back 4. There is a double on the yellows, so if I can get one back 4, they're probably going to peel the top 2 maybe, and then I can freeze on the button potentially on my skips first. And then we got him. Checkmate.
You heard it here.
Not exactly.
This is where we need the telestrator going.
Oh yeah, I thought we had that thing.
Yeah.
Nope.
Brad is running his finger across
painting.
our screen here.
It's coming, folks.
Did not
it's
work.
coming.
That is the rumor that there will be a telestrator.
Oh, it's not a rumor.
At
It's
some
coming.
point.
Home Team Live gives the people what they demand.
They do.
I would not want to keep their hours that they keep at these events. And they're here sun up to sundown.
Yeah, we're in between ends mapping out our days. Like, geez, Brent, I mean, I got 3 games today.
Yeah, that's almost like a full 8-hour day.
Yeah. And then these guys behind us are here from dawn to dusk.
Yeah.
And then another 4 hours.
We got to bring them vitamin D pills because they don't see the daylight.
Yeah.
Here when it's dark, leave when it's dark. So we're going to move the top one. I don't see this working, but...
Yeah, this is a split of sorts.
I guess. I really like that out turn come around to the back 4.
It's not a lot of weight here either. I try to figure out what they're tapping to where. I mean, the yellow they're moving, but they're trying to put it right next to the other one.
I think so, but they'll both be in front of the tee line. Really well done.
If that's what you're going to play, that's as good as you can make it, pretty much. But
see anything?
I mean, you're drilling both of these and hoping the shooter comes back up out.
Or stays right there.
Yeah, one or the other. Either doesn't move at all,
which is unlikely. Ooh, don't want to hear whoa, because you can hit either one first. That's pretty good. But if they get one right there, don't go anywhere, folks.
You can make this freeze.
What do you do if you're...
I mean, then you have to think about guarding, but then there's the in-off prayer.
In-off, there's the yellow in there. There'll be your guard in there. Is Team Gim going to win this game?
This would be quite the accomplishment for Gim if they're able to pull this game out with, again, maybe 5% of this game they've had some sort of advantage.
Yeah, like 5% of the time they've even been shot raw.
Yeah. It's been a constant chase.
You don't have to be winning until the game ends, though. Like, that's the only time it's really important. This is heavy, though. Needs to curl and stop here for Team Gim. That's
trouble. Yeah, now that looks like a nose hit. Get to the inside, great. But you can run the top yellow in.
좀 밀어가지고.
2-footer. I think, yeah, you got to hit the top one into that. Plant it there, and the game's over, really. Yeah, somebody, Selena there. Selena Gaffner saw it, motioned it. They're not buying it, though. I mean, this is fine, but if you nose it and jam it there, and it even stays for second, and they can make a double to lie too, you're going to have to make a shot. It's going to be probably harder than this run back is. Like, she's going to make this run back almost every time, contact.
You would think so. They're playing this soft, too. You saw they're even trying to get a little roll in. I mean, don't click your own.
All right, well, getting used to being wrong, so. I think she said, I'd like to live dangerously. So
I mean, that's a rough translation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not direct, but.
This is the best shot if you can make it. Well, man, I don't even think it is. The other one's better anyway.
Xenia Schwaller out-turn hit.
Just working it, Selena.
Easy there.
Whatever she's doing is working, eh? Wow. This is perfect.
That's a great throw there.
What a shot. Lies 3. Okay.
That's going to make it tough.
Lights out in Twinkletown, I think.
Does she have a shot to be shot rock?
In turn, slide wide, hook it, and bump it back a rock. I think lower the triple across the top and hope it somehow goes around your back when Matrix style.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. Off the wide one. Does that even go to that?
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I think your intern walk it in is the shot, and then they have a 6-inch.
Yeah, hit it anywhere that she just played. This, I don't see how it gets you shot rock, though. Like, is this into the top one and make the in-off double?
I think that's the only way you get shot. You got to throw it a million miles an hour to do it, too.
It's got to have some speed. And then you're going to give her a wide open hit.
It's a wide open hit.
Because if it spins buried, it jams the yellow, so.
Final shot. Kim Eun-ji.
Not throwing it hard.
Trying to
straight
take the in off and sneak it by the rock in the top of the forefoot. It's going to have enough to move that stone, too.
Make this, too.
Yep. Oh! Almost. For shot rock. Great effort there from Kim Eun-ji. Really kept her team in this game the entire matchup, but will be a win for Team Schwaller. I believe they got 2 in that final end. We'll call it 8-6. But they do get the victory to move to 1-1. Gim drops to 0-2. We will be back again. 3 o'clock today. Excuse me, 3:30. Feature matchup. Gushu taking on Muskatovitz. I'll be right here with John Cullen for that game.
What a matchup. Gushu lost to the first guy he picked, and Muskatovitz was the second guy he picked.
Pressure beyond for Team Gu.
Right?
So signing off here, Tyler George, Brent Lang, and the Home Team Live Network. We will see you at 3:30 right back here.